It's happened again. Somebody sent me an intake form in a Word document. Coming up today, I'm talking about intake forms and agreements and proposals and why you shouldn't send them as a Word document. Hey, everybody. My name is Eric Bjorndorf, CEO or IT related issues. Go ahead and hit subscribe and you'll be notified next time I post something. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below or email me at info@evernetco.com or go to my website here, which I think I have right here, evernetco.com. All right. So what am I talking about? Yeah. So I am I am engaging a new vendor for some services. I don't think I'm going to be specific today on that, but they sent me a proposal in a Word document and I reviewed that. And then they sent me after we executed the proposal, they then sent me an intake form in a Word document. Now, sending, Microsoft Word is just a word processor. It's just used to type letters and documents, and it's not even a great desktop publishing software. I mean, if you've ever tried moving a table or a photograph around a Word document, you know what I'm talking about. That's why Microsoft released Desktop Publisher. That actually gives you a canvas to move bodies of text and images and multimedia around on a page. Instead, what you should be using is a web form to collect information from the perspective or current customers. There are a lot of options available on the internet. The biggest name out there is Google. Google actually has a product called Google Forms, and I believe it's free to use. I'm going to bring it up in a second. And there's a couple others. But, if you think about it, an intake form, a proposal, an agreement, I can understand it's understandable why you would use Microsoft Word to send a retainer agreement if you're a lawyer, law firm, or a contract or quote in a Word document, because it's predominantly, I always use that word, it's mostly text with maybe a few signatures here and there. If you're producing those kinds of documents and you're not using a quoting software, which I think you should, but if you're not going to use that, at minimum, transmit agreements and contracts in a PDF form for a couple of reasons. A Word document, unless you put file permissions or editing permissions on the document itself, the document can be appended or modified. And if you have a lengthy contract, and you might risk having somebody slip one past the goalie by amending a line in the agreement or something like that. Worst case is you're just making it difficult for the document to be executed and returned to you. So if you're going to send an agreement or something like that in a document style format, at minimum, do a save as in Microsoft Word and save it as a PDF. I don't know if you ever used an iPhone. For the iPhone users out there, Apple Mail has a really great signature feature that you can open a PDF attachment, sign the attachment, and then attach it to the reply. It's a very slick process. I can't speak to that process on Android right now. But at least on the iPhone native mail app, signing and executing a PDF is great. So the alternative is, if you're not using a CRM, customer relationship management software, or a business management software, practice management software, whatever, every industry calls these softwares something different. Most of those have a intake form or web form feature where you can present your whatever your document is that you're trying to collect information. Excuse me. So so let me just do a share and show you. I just did a Google search free. I think I did a search for free web forms is the feature technology that we're talking about here. So let me just bring this up here. And Zapier, which is a leader in, and let me hide my banner so that's out of everybody's way. Zapier, which I'll probably do a video on in the future, is a leader in platform integration, and it's a really great tool to take data from one system that you use and connect it and send it to another. But they have a blog post here from January of this year that just gives you a list of the best online web form builders, and Google Forms is on the top. Microsoft Forms, JotForm, FormStack, Typeform, Paperform, FormSite, Pabbly. We've used Google Forms, Microsoft Forms, JotForm, and Typeform for our company. Today we use a product called Zoho Survey. But either way, a web form is the tool that you want to use to collect information from a prospect or client. Here is the page for Google Forms. It's very easy. You can create an online form just like creating a document. You have input fields, questions, multiple choice questions, and then when you send the form in the form of a link in an email or something like that, the user will be able to go right to the form. It's going to be mobile friendly, desktop friendly. You're going to get the information you need. Really good for an intake form for sure, customer intake form. I would say maybe not as good for a agreement or contract, although we use Zoho Survey, which is kind of a quasi kind of form and survey feature. So I'm actually presenting the terms of the contract and then having you acknowledge and accept, and then also give me the information for your intake. So, being an efficiency guy, that's what I'm doing. So that is Google Forms. Here is Typeform. There's a better way to ask. This is really, Typeform has kind of a nice conversational thing. You can bring in multimedia content, that sort of thing. So, I don't want to, here's JotForm. Here's a pricing. The starter version's free. Google Forms, the starter version's free. So if you have a simple intake form, no reason to not at least try to start with Google Forms to collect that information. That's pretty much what I wanted to talk to you about today. I don't think I have anything else of value that I can bring you about web forms. So I just wanted to basically say, stop sending agreements and contracts and anything like that in a Word document. At minimum, use a PDF. Word can export your document to a PDF very easily with a save as function. But I submit to you that if you have an intake or any sort of data collection process, use a web form. Your business management software probably has a feature ready to go. If not, Google Forms has a free version for you to kind of play with and integrate into your process. If you have any questions about this, feel free to email me at info@evernetco.com. And I expect to not see any more Word documents in my email consisting of agreements and proposals. Have a great day, everyone.